Hey everyone, it's Evan here with a trade recap for the week ending Friday, January the 20th. So for the first time last week, I did a weekly recap covering all of the trades that we closed out in our premium services, so the alerts that go out to subscribers. This week I'm going to do the same exact thing. So this is a recap of all of our closed trades from this week. Only 3 trades, so not as much activity, but I want to go through them. All 3 are winners. That's not the case. That's not cherry picked. That just happens to be the way the dice rolled this week. Last week we had 4 losers. You can go back and look at that video on the YouTube channel. So let's jump into it. So EOG, you can see all the trades listed down here. Again, these are normalized using a $50,000 model trading account. That's how these dollar amounts come out. And then the percentages are the percentages on the trade. So EOG, this was the first trade that, again, we closed out this week. So if we look at this chart here, what we were playing for, we got involved in it on this day right here, the 11th of January. That was our entry price. So essentially we're consider this a pullback trade. You have this leg higher here throughout the end of last year. You have a pullback to more or less, some of these fast moving averages. And then you get some stabilization here at about a 30% retrace. So we have this low down here, and then we have this higher low get put in. I consider it put in here on Wednesday. I know it technically hasn't officially happened, but I like the action here on Wednesday. This is the entry day where we tried to push lower, failed, and then closed all the way up here, looking like this wants to resume higher. So our entry price, where the alert went out to subscribers, was on Wednesday, and our exact entry was at 106.50. Oh, I'm sorry, that was our first profit target. Our first entry price was 104.60, the only entry price. So 104.60, you could see close to the close of the day, but a little bit underneath the close here on Wednesday. That was our entry, and we sat through a few days of chop here. This was a half-size position also, should put that out there. There's various reasons why we do that, that little beyond the scope of this video. So this was a half-size position for us. So on Wednesday at 104.60, and we sat sideways through that chop until this day right here on Tuesday. This was the start of this week. Remember, it was a holiday shortened week. This was the day we actually exited the entire trade. Now, there's a few reasons why. First is, the way this trade sort of developed was 50% of this trade came off at 106.50. Lucky enough to get right at close to the highs of the day here on Tuesday. So got close to the highs of the day, took half the trade off for profit, and that's the way we were going to kind of run with that trade if it wanted to continue to sort of work higher in our favor. What ended up happening though is we got that close at the lows of the day, so a bit of a reversal here, almost looking like a double top from last Thursday. So that close on the lows was one strike against this position. It's also our outlook on the market for the week. Tuesday coming into the week, we were getting more pessimistic, or at least more neutral on the market, looking to reduce exposure, not really add to it. So combine it with those 2 primary factors, and we exited the rest of this position right near the close of the day. So our average exit price on this trade was 106.13. Again, our average exit at 104.60 gives us 1.46%. And if you were to normalize that using a half-size position, it would be a $190 gain, not a loss. So $190 gain. That was the quick trade in EOG. You can see it continue to move sideways. Again, still looks reasonably okay, getting a little sluggish, but still hanging up there. Next is Shopify. This was a trade that we put on back here on the 6th. So the weekly chart is really what got us interested in this. This is what we're paying attention to. This was a very classic breakout. Love trading something that looks just like this. The entry was right there at the close on Friday at 46.94. So basically the close here of this week's candle. If we go back to the daily time frame, we'll talk more specifically about the management. So again, a little bit of a chase, right? Buying it right in up here, but that's the weekly breakout. Wider profit targets, wider stop losses in a trade like this for us. So Shopify, we ended up riding this one higher until this day right here on the 17th. which was this session, is when we started to peel some profit. Again, this was that Tuesday, same Tuesday we closed out EOG. We took 70% of the trade off on this day. A little bit aggressive, again, comes down to a few other things that, again, a little bit on market environments, depending on what other positions we have on. Specific management, we're going to skip for the scope of this period for this video, but 70% of this position came off here at 49.10. That was as it started to kind of move above the 8 period. Again, this one does have earnings coming up early February, so a little bit of in the back of our mind, but not close enough that it's really impacting. 70% off there, and the rest of it came off here on Thursday as it started to extend above $50. We took the rest off at $50.20. So as it started to really extend above these moving averages is where we took the rest of that position off. So Shopify ended up being an average exit price of $49.42 for a 5.28% gain, 5.28% gain, and again, normalized on that $50,000 account would be a $420 gain. So nice quick 2-week breakout trade here in Shopify. Still does look good, but and you could still be in this if you'd like, if you want to extend trades and trail stops and hold things a little bit longer. You know, you could certainly do that. So that was Shopify. Finally, PayPal. This one was really just a race against the clock. So again, kind of looking at the weekly breakout here as well, using $41 as the breakout level. This was our entry price here on Friday at at 41.38. So basically the close here on Friday once again. If we go back down to the daily chart. So 41.38 being the entry price, and mostly just sideways, right? Didn't do a whole lot. Looked like it was going to get going here on this Friday the 13th, but then had that bit of a reversal day. And this session right here, when we talked about it on our strategy recap video on the weekend, we liked the attempt to push higher here, didn't like the reversal, and we did make note if this did start to kind of sell off here, we'd be interested in reducing this position, because this one is a race against the earnings clock. This reports earnings next week. I personally like to be out of these trades at least a few days ahead of earnings, if not a week ahead of earnings. My personal preference. Some of you guys may like to just continue to hold right up to that very last day and then sell your trades out, or if you like to hold through trades, that's cool too if you have a long enough time frame. But for me, I like to be out days to a week in advance. So we were really racing against the clock here. Tuesday, when this started to break down from Friday's reversal, is when we sold 50% of this position at break even, a penny higher than break even, at 41.41. So on this day here is when we sold out half of it. And then Thursday, when this rallied up into resistance here on a relatively weak market day, this was the day where we took the rest off at 41.53, I believe was the exact fill. And as that rallied again up into resistance, decided to take that off and just call the trade. Basically a scratch, paid for some commissions, made $25 on it if you're using a $50,000 model account. 0.22% to the upside. It still looks good. And again, to be completely clear here, if this did not have earnings next week, would still be in this trade and probably would have not touched it at all at this point. But again, earnings is impacting the urgency in this trade. So that was the recap. 3 trades, 3 winners. Again, if you were to add up all that, 1.27% gain, $635 on that model trading account. Hopefully you guys like this video. This is, again, all the trades that we send out in real time. If you want to learn more about the trades that we deliver, check out traderist.com/premium, or just head to the site. There's plenty more information there. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.